Okay, so up until the raid, you're like, Tolga and Christina are a little sus. And then the raid happens, which, first of all, was that like insanely traumatic? Like, what did you think on the day of the raid?
Yes, it was very traumatic, very chaotic. We were all desperate and terrified, especially being told against the government, being trained and taught and raised thinking these people are always going to be out to get us.
Right.
Then it was terrifying. And I believe Sam knew before they came, because the few weeks between his first arrest and the raid, then he was very paranoid and he started clamping down. They were the most intense weeks. And he started telling us how to respond to these police officers, and he started talking about, they're going to try to take me from you. And he would talk about lying like hell if we had to, or answer them nothing.
Right.
And I remember him getting very adamant, very aggressive about that. And we were still clueless what was going to happen.
Do you think it was the arrest with the trailer that triggered his paranoia? Like, what do you think was making him so paranoid?
I'm not sure. I do remember him saying things that I remember Tolga even saying things. Tolga, like, just tell the truth. Just tell him everything. Because yes, after the first arrest, then he was really paranoid. And then Tolga started dropping these huge hints that I'm shocked that he didn't catch on to, because Tolga would be like, yep, they're going to come in and take you. And just tell the truth. And he would also say things like, have the younger girls with their mothers. Like, send them back with the moms. Don't have anything to do with them. Tolga really tried to warn Sam that he was doing the wrong. And thinking back now, I think that Tolga was very, very disturbed with Sam, and it was all he could do not to strangle him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I imagine
Makes
so.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like just act like all this stuff was amazing that he was doing when he's hiking in his motorbike.
Hearing him say, wow, that's amazing. It's like Tolga.
Dude, those were killers.
It's so funny.
Just to have
Amazing.
1 ounce of Sam's motorcycle confidence.
I know.
I could be the president. What do you think his obsession with the Queen was about?
Oh,
What the heck was that?
I can tell, like, I was just videoing earlier telling about that, because like I'm getting a lot of people asking me to tell the story behind the Queen of England. It is pretty wild. It's kind of crazy, but one morning he came in and talked about he had this dream, and in the dream, then it was so random too. It was very random. He said in his dream, then he was with the Queen of England and he was kissing her wrists.
Oh.
And as the days went by, then pretty soon he started talking about how the Queen of England belonged to him, belonged to his family. And then he started saying things like he's going to marry the Queen of England and therefore he would be King of England.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's what the goal is. But weren't there other people besides the Queen, too, that he was convinced? Like, weren't there other famous people?
There was a singer lady. I don't exactly remember her name. And then there was Christine. And he started telling us, like, Christine's going to be your sister wives and stuff. And then there was Elise and Meryl.
Sorry, Elise and Meryl, for context, are my friends since I was 19 or something.
And they came and helped with a lot of the filming.
The filming in the town, yeah. This is before Netflix was ever involved, but Elise had filmed some of the stuff, and Meryl is her twin sister, who also did a little bit of filming in the town. That's so funny.
But that was the time when he brought up Elise and Meryl, when I finally came up with the audacity to question him. And the way I questioned him was kind of very hesitant, and I was very punished for it. Even So what happened was one night then after Tolga and Christine, Andy, Lisa, and Meryl came over and was helping with the filming of his birthday party or something. And that night then he gathered us all around and he said something to the effect of, those girls belong in my family. And I finally had the courage and I said, I'm tempted to think evil of you because every girl you see that's pretty or something's happening in their life that they're doing, then they suddenly belong to you.
Wow.
And he did not like that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He didn't have any explanation to me why. And he just told me to pack my stuff and then I was banished for 3 months. Out living in that box trailer out on BLM land.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, spent a few months out there and with him a lot. And
Oh, okay. He was there.
yes, and then he would have different girls and women out there. And he told them that I was always out there because the other men were lusting after me.
Oh, my God.
And then he would tell me why. It was because I was questioning him, and he would say, like, because you think you're smarter than me. Which technically I was.
Accurate.
On any scale. Yeah.
It is really hard to square, like, with him in particular. Like, because sometimes we'll talk to people and, like, their cult leader, their prophet or whatever, like, is clearly very smart and very capable. And just, like, you know, with Sam, I'm like, it's hard to square how goofy and like dorky he is with how evil he is. Like, I feel like those things aren't supposed to go together. You know what I mean?
Well, truthfully, all the trending videos mocking him, I feel very validated. I feel like, yes, like he deserves this.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, I'm going to compensate for this. I will tell more crazy, stupid things that he did that was so bizarre.
Yeah. Are there any you haven't told?
Oh, tons.
Give us one.
Well, there's the Queen of England thing. There's all of his goals were pretty bizarre. And even his Marble Palace stuff, I remember questioning him about that. And it got to a point where I was so terrified to approach him on different things. And when I would say something, one of the other girls, I remember her coming to me and she said, if you'd learn to shut up, then he wouldn't punish you so much. And then that night, then she got up in front of everyone and said something about, I'm tempted to always continually think evil of Nomz because she always says things that get her in trouble.
Oh, wow.
A rebel at heart is what I'm hearing.
Me too.
I feel like I was 99% committed, but that 1% saved me.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel just to address Sam's goofiness with how evil he was, I feel like he would have never been able to do even a single ounce of it without the 3 other men. I feel like once those men were like contributing the money, and then he had the time to and a little bit more resources.
Yes. He got all the girls from them.
Exactly.
Right. That's a good point.
All of the women he had were from either those men's daughters or their caretakees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it just power is interesting.
Yeah.
When you look at how it can be accumulated.
Right. It's not like just like pure charisma. Like you also need some of these. You need support. You need material.
They kind of like fed the monster, though.
Yeah.
Through the whole entire experience.
Indeed.
Okay. Talk about running away from the cops. We have to know. If you want.
I really don't remember a lot of that. I remember them coming in and asking me where the 9 minor girls were, or the 8 at the time, those 8 that had ran away. I remember them coming in and asking me, and at that point, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I really didn't know because they had gone with Moretta.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm skipping ahead. So for context, so the raid happens, Sam gets arrested. Some of the underage girls get put into foster care, and then they just...
the 9 underage girls that he was claiming saying that were his wives, then they went into foster care. They ran away.
But they ran away with the help of, with some of the adult women, right?
We didn't really tell them to run away or anything. That was something they came up with, and Sam told them to. He kept telling them to.
Okay.
They actually ran away like 4 times before that, but it was when we were still in, before Christine and Tolga had been outed. And so we would tell Christine and Tolga, and Christine would say, tell them to cooperate. Just the more they cooperate, the sooner that the moms will get them back. Then the DCS outed Christine, and Sam had us all cut all communication, anything with Christine and Tolga.
I still can't believe they did that.
This documentary really highlights all the failures of our systems.
Mm-hmm.
You know, number one,
right?
You tell the police that a bunch of people are being raped and they don't give a shit. Number two, you have to prove so much to get people involved. And then this detail that you're talking about now, as well as just letting Sam call the girls from jail.
I know. That was crazy.
He should have had his communication cut, because he was communicating with the minors through the adults.
Horrible.
Which is kind of weird, because I wasn't the lead person in that.
Yeah.
It was the moms. I mean, they weren't my siblings. They weren't my kids.
Yeah.
It was their moms that the communication was coming through.
Yeah.
And I was just one of them going along with it.
So he's instructing from jail
Yes.
the girls to run away.
Yeah, after Christine and Tolga were cut off, then the 4th time they ran, after doing what Sam told them to, then he said, if they run again, he encouraged them to run, and then he told us, go pick them up and run. And so we did. We were just being obedient, doing whatever he said, and that was another time where I questioned only very carefully. Then I said, what they going to do to us? Because they had taken him, they'd taken them.
Right.
And I was starting to wonder what's going to happen to us now.
Right.
The weird thing is, this prison didn't even cross my mind. I thought more raids, more interviews and interrogations with the FBI, but not prison. But he kind of blew that off, and he said, well, they already did the worst thing because they took me.
Oh my God.
And in the culty mindset that I was in, then I was just like, oh yeah, that is the worst thing. He risked our lives.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we went down there and we picked him up from under the freeway bridge. To this day, I have no idea where those group homes were. I've never known the addresses to them.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that was extremely orchestrated, because it was from more than one home at the same time.
Yes.
That's a lot of coordination.
And a lot of it had to do with not just the 3 that went and picked him up. We were just the minions. It was the entire group.
Yeah. So at that point, you're still a Sam believer, and then then what happens? You get arrested. I
was there for picking up 3 of them. There was 8 of them. And then we dropped them off with Moretta, and she took all 8 of them to Washington. And I went back to the greenhouse. And then the cops showed up, and they asked me my name. They asked me a ton of questions about where the minor girls were. And I had no idea. Because there was no communication going on at the time, because they finally started cutting Sam off and banned all his calls. So we were all just lost. What we're supposed to do. And then after he asked me all these questions, then he said, you're under arrest. The next thing I remembered, I was running in the mountains.
So you just took off.
Yes, it was adrenaline.
Yeah.
Seeing the video, then I'm like, oh, that's what I did. I had no knowledge of this.
It's like watching an episode of Cops, which I guess you never would have watched growing up, but it's crazy. But it's you, it's tiny you. Like it's so wild.
Yeah.
It is kind of wild to me. yeah, the next memory I had, I was running in the mountains and I started thinking, why am I under arrest? What did I do? And am I really running from the cops? Like, this is wild. So I went back to turn myself in. Didn't have the courage to climbed underneath a box trailer in the neighbor's yard and climbed up in the axle and waited there all night.
It broke my heart when you said in the doc that your leg froze.
It did. It froze really bad. I had to go through a little bit of physical therapy even in prison.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. It just really contextualizes how much pain and yeah.
Yeah.
You have had one of the more extreme journeys of folks we've talked to on here, for sure. I mean,
on the planet Earth, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, we talk to people from cults every week, but like, this is just so extreme. So we are dying to know about prison, if you're willing to share. But I guess before we get there, I mean, you obviously had to go to. You get arrested, you go to trial. Like, that must have been terrifying.
Not trial. It was interesting how even after turning myself in, I didn't know why until 3 days later when I was standing in front of the judge and the judge explained why I was arrested. And allegedly it was for the kidnapping. It was conspiracy to kidnapping because I was involved in that. And I remember even then thinking thoughts like, I didn't kidnap them. I didn't go on their property. They ran. Right. It was a very confusing time, but I also remember telling my attorney literally days after my arrest that I was really glad to be in there because it was over. And I wasn't talking about like I wasn't against Sam at the moment. I was more like thinking God is going to justify me not having to do what he's saying because I'm in here.
Right. So God was, through breaking you guys up, God was kind of giving you an out from his control for a minute to regroup. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. The mindset was crazy.
You have to go to prison to get your freedom.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
It was very culture shocking.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, tell us.
Yeah. Who was like the first person you met? What was it like getting?
I actually don't really remember a lot of the names like for the first few months because I was under this trance of culture shock.
Yeah.
Then the news came over of the whole traffic stop in Flagstaff, and now I was in there, and so I got beat up really bad within the first 2 weeks.
Oh no.
They put me in segregation for 6 weeks in medical and until I healed. And then they put me right back in Gen Pop where I was. But it was like kind of crazy. The people in there were so interesting. They were so fascinating to me because my whole life, everybody was the same. But to see the individuality and the variety, and these were all criminals or waiting to, they weren't convicted, but they were people that had done bad things and waiting for the judge to decide their sentences. But they were just so fascinating to me. And even the ones that had beat me up, like when I came back, then they were kind of strange because they were like, oh my God, like you're pretty brave to come back here. Like I had a choice. And then wanted to be my friend.
Interesting.
It was really strange.
Did you make friends with anyone in particular? Like, are there women you're like, that girl ruled?
I mostly just, I wouldn't necessarily call them friends because I knew nothing about their life before and there was no way to fact check it. But I did, what's the word? Homies, I guess. I did have a lot of homies in there. And we did a lot of things together, and we would like play games, and I learned how to gamble and play different
Stop it.
gambling games, card games, and even different board games like Scrabble, Monopoly, and chess and things like that.
Were you like having some fun?
At first, no. At first, it was so numb and I was still processing everything and questioning, starting to wonder about my beliefs.
Of course. Yeah.
Like, I have been perfectly obedient to God. I have done everything he wanted me to do. And here I am in prison for it. What's going on?
One of my favorite parts of the documentary, well, it's so, again, a failure in the system, is when they put you in a cell next to Sam. Like, so you guys
Right. I never understood why they did that.
So maddening, because that could have gone the exact opposite direction that it went.
It could have, and it did. Prison actually did that with some of the other adult women. Then it drove them deeper in.
Of course. So they put you in a holding cell next to Sam so you can talk to this person that you're finally getting some freedom from. And he goes, "Oh, it's so good to talk to you. I haven't talked to anybody in a year."
He said a lot more than that, but that was just the only parts they could actually fit in the documentary. But there was like several things that he said that I started recognizing he's lying to me.
That's a lie.
Right.
He has, you were like, wait, it hasn't been a year since I,
Yeah.
And it's like,
even the thoughts like that, then I had to build up to those. Like, in prison was when I got introduced to different novels and self-help books. And because I was so confused about my beliefs, then I read through the entire history of the church because of the different LDS people that were in there, and they have to grant their religious beliefs.
Right.
So they had all the journals, they had all the history of the church stuff, they had a lot of like scriptures in there, and being raised on these scriptures and now being so confused, then I went and did this deep dive, and the dots still weren't connecting. And then I started reading into other religions. I read 14 different versions of the Bible.
Wow.
I mean, 21 months is a long time in there, and I was being a really fast reader. Then I would just go through these books. And then I started reading self-help books, and that was when I started to question things, because I would read books like, there was one that I really gravitated toward, and it was called The Pathway to Surrender, Letting Go. And the whole book was about owning the truth. And my entire life, I had been taught to keep everything secret.
Right.
Or lie about it. And then here in this book, then it's saying it sets you free if you just own it and tell the truth. And that was that was when I started to wonder, like, so why do I believe the way I believe? Because it would talk about that too. And it said also question everything, because that's the only way you're going to find the truth, is if you question everything. And being not allowed to question anything growing up, then it was just so fascinating to me.
Wow.
That's so cool.
So in that mindset, I still didn't dare question Sam, or because every time I questioned him in my mind, it would defer to Warren Jeffs, because they were very much the same. And Sam was using his trainings. He was using his personal diaries. And that's where he was getting a lot of his ideas.
Right.
It wasn't until that court hearing and that time sitting there and listening to him talk to me for 4 hours and just lie after a lie. And I was in a mindset where I'm starting to recognize this.
So you had already read this book that talked about the value of truth when you were placed next to Sam in the cell.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank God, too.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God.
Wow.
Did you placate him? Were you like, oh my gosh, yes, yes?
At first I did.
Yeah.
I remember just being so shocked at his bold audacity to lie like so much. And then in my mind, I started questioning things, even sitting there like, oh my God, he's lying to me. How many times has he lied to me? And then everything started like coming up in my mind, like, this whole time he's been lying to me. And he hurt me so much in all these different areas. And he would use God, and he would use a lot of blackmailing and lying. And it was, in those moments that I would started to kind of play into it, and he would lie more. And then when they finally came to take us back to the prison or back to the jail, then when I was walking away, the last words that I ever said to him is, "You lied to me."
Wow.
And then that was the last things I have ever said.
Oh my God, chills.
That was the last time I saw him. After that, I asked my attorneys, I never want to see him again. If there's ever a group court hearing, which was a lot of those, I don't want to be there. So they started to waive my presence. And my attorneys would go, but I didn't have to go anymore.
Wow.
So that was the last time I saw him. And the last words.
Oh my God, I still have chills. They're still chilling. The chills are chilling.
I'm crying,
crazy.
I'm chilling, I'm laughing.
Gnomes. I'm like, how long had you been in jail at that point?
5 months, I think it was.
Wow.
I was arrested in December of 2022, the 2nd of December, and then I think it was around May when that happened.
I mean, it's amazing. It's like you've been educating yourself, you've been learning, and then he just tells on himself. Like, you just
kind of did.
Yeah, like he didn't
kind of
have
just
to
say anything.
do that in that moment.
Yeah. Well, like he was so dumb. He really was. But and then also, I mean, it was after that I started to deconstruct even more and more, because I remember going back to the jail, and then I finally dared think questions against Warren Jeffs. And that was when basically the house of cards just crumbled.
Oh, wow.
And I started like, oh my God, I was born and raised in lies.
Yeah.
And it was insane. It was scary. I went through the next few months were very dark for me.
Yeah.
Attempted suicide. It was just the grief, the loss, and knowing I'm never going back to anything that has to do with the FLDS.
Wow.
And then the whole outside world was so scary to me. I knew nothing about it. I was getting a crash course on it in prison.
Yeah.
It was still so scary. It was...
Well, yeah, because that's the other extreme, right? Like...
Yes. It was definitely something that I've had to heal from.
And to deconstruct that fast, you would, like, in the normal world, they'd be like, you should go to inpatient treatment, you know?
I actually did.
Oh, good.
For 6 months, then I went to therapy. I went like twice a week. And
during your prison stay?
Yes, because after realizing the truth and then going through these dark months of suicidal and the grief, the loss, the anger, and the shame and guilt for even existing, then started going to therapy. And even then, I was so terrified to open up to the FBI. After I knew to when I finally opened up to the FBI, it was an 8-month period. And 6 months of that time, I was in therapy, and they were talking me through a lot of this. And when I did finally open up to the FBI, just accepting that I had been lied to my whole life, and here I am with this huge criminal charge that didn't really even belong to me, then just the acceptance of that it took a lot to accept that I had been lied to, and the only way forward is to completely let go of everything in my past. And that included my family.
Wow. Are you going through so you're able to go to a therapy program, which that's great that they had that available to you. But are you talking to anyone else about this deconstruction that's happening?
No. At the time, it was just, I would get on the phones with the people that were still in, and every time they brought it up, then I would just, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And so we would talk about anything else other than that. And Moretta was in the pod next to me, and she was going through the same thing, but we couldn't talk about it.
Mm.
And even our attorneys were warning us not to talk about it to each other, the case and our lives before and everything. But we started to hint things. And it wasn't until trial that I found out Moretta had turned and was on the opposite side. And she was also testifying against him. And that was such a relief to be like, oh, I have somebody on my side here.
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot imagine how isolating that must have felt and how dark that must have been. I mean,
yeah,
there's just like no worse way to like, yeah, exactly what Meagan was saying. Like, it's already so challenging for people. It's like turning their whole lives upside down.
Absolute despair.
Like everything they believed in is wrong. Everyone they love is like they're alienated from them now. Like no matter what, that's traumatic, and no matter what, that's like the craziest life transition. But then also to be going through it alone in jail for months. Like, girl.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I don't know how I got through it, honestly.
Yeah.
Even I look back on those days and the things that we're going through inside, and the realization, the transition, the deconstruction. It was so heavy. But I do remember having thoughts of anger towards Sam. And in my mind thinking, as soon as I'm getting out, I'm making a commitment that I will do anything I can to stop him and anybody like him, because I was so angry. But the anger came after the grief and loss, and I journaled a lot of it.
Yeah, and drew a lot too. It seemed like you got to be back with your artist self that was like pushed down when you were...
Yeah, I also would write a lot about it too. I wrote poems and got into writing different songs about it. That helped me process a lot. It helped me release it a lot.
Good.
Was my art and my poems and singing about it. I even remember the song that just resonated with me because I had no exposure to the outside music. It came on MTV, and it was Olivia Rodrigo singing Vampire.
I love that song.
And I remember feeling like this is my song. He sold me for parts, and everything about that song, I just resonated with it.
Wow, I wish we could play it. I bet we can't get but we're not allowed to, but I wish we could.
I just did it justice. It's fine.
Yeah, no, that sounded exactly the same.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Olivia, I'm sorry.
But I just remembered when you came to FilmQuest and showed a video. It was her, right? Or was it someone else?
That was her.
It was her. Do you want to tell that story?
I recorded right after prison. It was like a few months after. Then I videoed myself singing Vampire. And some of my friends in New York contacted Olivia Rodrigo and sent it to her. I think I would have done a better job if I knew they were going to send it to the artist. Anyway, so last year on my birthday, she reached out to me.
What?
And she was like, I heard your story and I'm rooting for you. And you did such a very good cover of that song. I'm still blown away thinking about it.
That's unbelievable.
I know. It's so cool. That was so cool of her.
What? Oh, yeah. Wow. How did you have friends in New York?
They were through the filming of the Netflix documentary.
Who was it? Was it the doc people?
Neil Sharon. I think that's how how he say his name, and his girlfriend Avery that connected that.
Deconstructing that fast and moving to New York and like integrating into pop
Paris
culture
and London.
Okay, I see.
Did you get out first? I just want to know the timeline of Sam getting convicted versus you getting out. Which one came first?
So I was actually released on pretrial in September of 2024.
Okay.
Then I went to sentencing 4 months later, before Sam was sentenced.
Okay, got it.
During that time, then the whole trial happened against Liddell and Torrance.
Okay.
Did you go to any of it?
Yes, I had to testify. I was on the stand for 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Was that rough?
It kind of was. It was 5 days after I had been released from prison.
Whoa.
The overwhelming being reintroduced to society, but not just introduced to society, but to a new life that I had never experienced. Plus, 5 days later, sitting on the stand, talking about this very sensitive, horrific things that happened to me and things that I had witnessed. It was a lot of pressure. And even after trial, then I remember this break in the middle of testifying and going into the restroom and just throwing up and throwing up. And then I'd go back out there and get on the stand.
Was anyone there with you to support you?
My Aunt Carol.
Okay.
She was the one that came down there and signed it to, because I can't remember what it's called, but you have to have somebody that you're signed off to when you're on pretrial. And she was the one that I was signed to.
Okay.
And then she supported me through the trial and the 4 next months. And during those months, I got really sick because everything was so overwhelming. And I got really sick and I couldn't hold anything down and lost a lot of weight. And it was really rough. And I didn't feel free at all. During those months, I felt more overwhelming and scared. And everything was so new and readapting to society. I remember a lot of nights I would sleep on the floor because the bed was too soft and it was too quiet. And being able to just walk around without an officer yelling at you for being in the wrong place. And it was definitely something I had to adapt to, as well as the choices, the abundance of opportunities and choices that I could do with my life. It was a lot to accept.
Overwhelming.
Where were you living?
I was living with my aunt I went back to Colorado City and was living with her.
Do you remember, like, the first moment that it maybe felt more exciting than scary, or like the future might be exciting?
It was after I was sentenced, because during those few months of being released on pretrial and sentencing, I had no idea what was going to happen with my life.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were going to send me back. I didn't know if I didn't know if I dared plan for a future.
Right.
It was after I was sentenced, then it was such a relief.
Yeah.
And I started feeling like I could explore more. And then I started experiencing more. And I don't remember the exact moments, but I do remember like several other things. I don't remember if it was the first moment, but I remember the first time I got to eat out at a restaurant, and that was exciting and new. And the first time I went to the theater and watched a movie.
Yep.
That was another very exciting thing. And I started to save the different tickets and receipts of different things that I had tried for the first time.
Wow.
And I started this book called My First Time Book.
Oh.
Like the first time going to Vegas and walking down the strip. It was so mind-blowing to me.
I'm sure. Wow.
I mean, and I relate to this. I don't mean any shade by this, because I relate to this for my own upbringing, but it's like bringing somebody from the 1700s to like 2020 whatever and being like, here you go. And you're like, ugh, like so many lights, so many sounds. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do keep, even now, then I have kept this book of my first time book. First time I went to New York, the first time I went up to Idaho, with like different places that I went. Yes, I call it my first time book. And I have tons of different pictures and receipts and the feelings about it.
What's the most exciting thing you've done for the first time?
Oh, all of them are quite equal. I do remember my first roller coaster ride, and it was at the New York in Vegas.
Oh.
That's a scary one.
Yeah.
It wasn't to me. It felt like I was finally equalizing the emotions inside physically.
You're like, this is what it feels like in my body.
Yeah. Now
Yes,
it's
and
meeting me.
I was totally chill, just relaxed. This roller coaster.
So funny, Gnomes. I can't believe that. How did you reconnect with my mom? Because when you went into jail, you hated her.
Yes, it took, I would say, 2 years exactly, because I went to prison on December 2nd and then was sentenced on December 2nd of 2024. Exactly 2 years later.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how the dates lined up, which is kind of ironic with the whole trial too. The first day that I testified was September 13th, which was 2 years to the day exactly from the day that we were raided by the FBI in 2022.
Wow.
So it's kind of ironic how things landed like that. But on my way down to sentencing, I, at this time, was still very angry at Christine for what she had done. And I didn't understand her. And I was very against Sam. I hated him and was committed to talking out against him. And yet I didn't understand Christine's role, because the whole time I knew her, then she was kind of befriending him and then betrayed us with that. So I didn't like her for those 2 years, but I was really sorry for the things that I'd sent her. And I remember even in prison, then I texted Tolga and told him how sorry I was from prison. I had called her some really bad names and texted her and Tolga and called him traitor and all this stuff. But so after I was released, then I finally felt like I could confide in my aunt, and I told her what I felt and how I felt about Christine and Tolga. She didn't agree, and she would just say things like, I think that you should talk to her first. And little did I know that she was in cahoots with Christine, and she was telling Christine how I was doing. I wasn't allowed to talk to her during those months because of all the trial stuff, and she was another witness in the trial. It was a very intense time. But so on the way down to sentencing, then Christine sent me a podcast, actually with you.
Oh.
Yes, it was a Trust Me podcast of her briefly telling her story and what happened to her. I listened to that on the way down to Phoenix and had an entire paradigm shift. I had no idea what her life was. I didn't know why she did what she did until I listened to that, and I had this whole, awakening, like, oh my God, our lives are so similar. She went through exact same experiences as me. The next day, when I was sentenced to time served and I knew that I was safe and I would not be going back and I was free, then I told my aunt that I really needed to talk to Christine. And the next day we went and talked to her, and it ended up being a very long conversation. We were up all night and it was emotional. And what was so interesting that day was the first thing she said to me was, you don't have to prove yourself. I already know. I already know what you've been through. And up until then I felt like I was constantly trying to prove myself that I was a good person. Anyway, that was when I reconnected, and we just got closer and closer since. She became like my adopted godmother. And
oh,
I mean, same. Yeah, I like it.
She's America's mother now.
She's America's mother.
Yes. I feel like she played such a big, huge part, a big role in my deconstructing, because she knows about the outside world a lot more than me, and she's helped me navigate my life. And I feel like that's a huge reason why I'm out so much, and I've been able to process and deconstruct so fast, was because of her.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, how are you doing now? How are you feeling? You have the whole world knows who you are now, and hopefully seems like very supportive. Like
what does the future hold?
Yeah.
I didn't expect this much support. It was crazy. Like when I did the show, I was expecting more hate because I was being very vulnerable, telling exactly how it was, very honest. And I expected more judgment and hate, but it has been the exact opposite of that, except with a lot of local people.
Yeah. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
I'm getting used to it, I guess. It's kind of new to be recognized everywhere I go.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
So it is something I'm getting used to. I don't know. I feel like I was the one that was very committed in talking about this and bringing this awareness. And so I want to just accept this new life that I'm going to have to at this point.
Well, I am so proud of you. I can't believe how far you've come. I mean, we all can't. It's amazing to see you now, a free woman, thinking for herself, looking so beautiful.
Thank you.
It's so inspiring.
I know. And you're dating, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's amazing. You're so impressive, Nomz.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're just a force of nature and letting us be a part of it.
I want to prove that you can recover from really horrible things that happen in your past. You can recover. It takes a lot of work inside, but it's possible.
Can you give somebody who's maybe in their darkest moment, like you were in the jail, like just something like that they can hang on to, or like anything that helped you kind of hang in there?
A quote I remember repeating to myself a lot, even in there, after I started coming out of very dark depression and grief and loss. And I started saying to myself a lot whenever I would get into this suicidal mindset, then I would pull myself out of it with, I'll be okay either way. And I would just tell myself that over and over. It was like this motto in my mind. And then I also remember seeing other people that I idolized that had left a cult and became someone amazing. Then I would look up to them and just be like, if they can, I can too. Mm-hmm. With somebody that's still deep inside a cult, then I feel like the best thing to do is not talk against their perpetrator directly, but try to drop hints that are parallel until they come to their own conclusion.
Hints have been, I mean, I haven't heard the word hint in so long, and hints were such a big part of this documentary and this conversation. And it's a great point. Like Lola's mom at one point, Sam is going off about some stupid bullshit, and Lola's mom is like, no, that's a really good point. You should read The Gift of Fear about, perpetrators.
She was dropping hints to us.
Yeah, and
which, you know what? He wouldn't let us read that book.
Of course not.
Of course he didn't.
He didn't let us read it, but I read it in prison later.
Yeah, and
I did.
Good, and it's a good book. Yeah, but like hints, it is true that even subconsciously, maybe people are picking up on some hints.
Just a little seed. Just plant a little baby
but
seed.
Not like passive aggressive.
Yeah, not too direct either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard. I mean, it's a really challenging thing to know exactly how to do correctly, and like we might just not do it correctly.
Even me, then I feel like there's this quote, like, you can only lead a horse to water, it's up to them to drink.
Yeah, totally.
And as many hints that you drop, then it's still up to them to realize.
Yeah. That's important. Well, Nomz, what's on the docket? What are you doing next? Where do people find you?
I have Instagram at Nomzia_B, the same on TikTok. Hopefully I start a YouTube channel real soon. I'll be talking more about my story and my deconstructing through that. And as well as I've really been getting into a lot of singing. I have a vocal coach that I've been taking lessons from, Adriana McPhee, her name is. And Toga's introduced me to different producers and songwriters, and I hope to have a career in that area.
Yeah.
I also want to, I almost feel this obligation to advocate for people that have been through similar experiences that I went through.
Yeah.
I want to be able to help them through the process of healing from that. And I feel like one of the reasons why I'm so driven in that area is because survivor's guilt. I don't understand how I was able to wake up and pull out of it, whereas so many are still stuck. And I feel this obligation, this drive to help them.
I mean, it's admirable, and it also makes sense. You went through so much, and why would we ever want anyone else to go through that, without support?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would rather put my pain and comfort aside so that they wouldn't have to go through what I went through. Waking up in prison, I mean, it was the best and worst thing that happened to me, but it was something that I did have to heal from.
Right. Yep.
There were funny things that happened in there, though, I have to say.
I wish we had 9 more hours. You'll have to tell us when you come back. We'll grill you.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about, even, and I think it would be so good to even have Mikkel on the show too.
Yeah.
Because even our friendship and the ups and downs and the things that it went through is a whole nother story in and of itself.
Oh my gosh. And the video you two posted together, you guys are so cute.
I think I have a song collaboration in mind between the two of you, but I want to be a part of it too. So leave room for me.
We'll go start a band. Cult
no,
Girls.
it's just a song. It's just a song. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And I'm just so excited for you. And
thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.